Hey everyone, my name is David Yoshida. I am an equine law specialist out here in California, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a fraud verdict I just got. And this is a bit of a cautionary tale for anyone out there who is even thinking about selling a horse without fully disclosing everything about the horse's health history. So what happened here is my client bought an $11,000 horse from this woman up in Hollister, California. She had told my client that the horse was perfectly sound, it's never taken a lame step in his life, that it had a perfectly clear medical history, and it was suitable for dressage and eventing. Well, my client believed everything she said, she had no reason not to. Got the horse. About a month later, she discovered, after spending a bunch of money on veterinarians, that the horse had EPM, which is a chronic neurological issue that creates inflammation all over the horse's body, and that the horse had urinary incontinence, meaning the horse was holding in its urine and it would dribble urine. And these are issues that are very serious, and they definitely would have scared my client off from buying that horse. So we sued the defendant for fraud, which is an intentional misrepresentation of a material fact. And we were able to recover not only the purchase price of the horse, but also all the money that my client spent on diagnosing all these unknown issues and treating those issues, which is about 40 grand. So we got, oh shoot, my screen's just turned off. We got $50,000 in compensatory damages, which are damages that are out of pocket. But on top of that, we got 51 grand in punitive damages, which are damages designed to punish bad actors. And to get punitive damages, you have to prove by clear and convincing evidence that the fraud had occurred intentionally. Now, if you want to get just compensatory damages, you have to prove by preponderance of evidence that the fraud occurred, which we did, but we also met this clear and convincing higher standard of proof, and that's how we got the punitive damages. So we got double the amount of compensatory damages, and punitive damages can actually go as high as 10 times compensatory damages. So I'd say the defendant got pretty lucky here with only a $100,000 judgment. What's interesting about this case is that there was a bill of sale with an as-is clause in there, and I think the seller thought that that was going to prevent her from fraud liability. But the thing about fraud in California, it vitiates any transaction that you enter into. So if you mislead someone into buying a horse or a car or anything, that transaction is void. And another interesting thing is that my client had a pre-purchase examination performed on a horse, meaning she had an equine vet out there testing the horse out, examining whether or not the horse was sound, and the vet didn't pick up on the urinary incontinence or the EPM, because these are two things that are really hard to pick up. And because the seller failed to disclose those things, it didn't prevent her from fraud liability, because the vet didn't know the full set of facts, so the vet was misled as well. So the fraud ultimately fell on the lap of the defendant alone, and we were able to recover 10 times the purchase price, which is a nice victory for us. And it's a cautionary tale for anyone who's trying to sell a horse. It's best to just disclose everything. If you're going to disclose anything at all, make sure you disclose any possible fact that could impact the buyer's decision to purchase the horse. You want to make sure the buyer's fully informed and have them decide whether or not they want to buy a horse with some minor defects or major defects, and you'll be fine. Otherwise, you can potentially get hit with a gnarly damages award that you cannot discharge in bankruptcy, by the way, because fraud judgments cannot be discharged in bankruptcy, as opposed to a negligence judgment, because fraud is an intentional act and it's intentional wrong, and the bankruptcy courts do not like that. So if you have any questions, send me a DM. Thank you.